The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. The Lord said, "Woe to you who build the memorials of the prophets whom your fathers killed. Consequently, you bear witness and give consent to the deeds of your ancestors, for they killed them and you do the building. Therefore, the wisdom of God said, I will send to them prophets and apostles. Some of them they will kill and persecute, in order that this generation might be charged with the blood of all the prophets, shed since the foundation of the world, from the blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah, who died between the altar and the temple building. Yes, I tell you, this generation will be charged with their blood. Woe to you, scholars of the law! You have taken away the key of knowledge. You yourselves did not enter, and you stopped those trying to enter." When Jesus left, the scribes and Pharisees began to act with hostility toward him and to interrogate him about many things, for they were plotting to catch him at something he might say. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
One of the main problems during the Reformation time was this understanding of the relationship between faith and works and how we are justified. And consequently, what came out of that at that time was we are not saved by works, we're saved by faith. And that really doesn't get to the heart of it. And, it took, some theological elbow grease to kind of get to how are we saved. St. Paul talks a lot about it in the book of Romans, which we just heard about today. And it's kind of neat because I think it's 1999, there was a joint declaration signed by both Lutheran and Catholics on how we are saved. And we are not saved by faith, we're not saved by works, we're saved by grace. It's a key distinction. We're saved by grace. Okay, faith is a response to that grace, and so is works. St. James would even say we're not saved by faith alone. Works have an integral part of that, but neither one are sufficient without grace. So we're saved through the grace of God, which Paul is referencing in various times in the book of Romans, which we read this morning. But the Pharisees and the scribes, they have a problem with that too, because they think they're saved by the law, just doing what the law says. And so that's kind of why they're all up in arms today at Jesus, who's just calling them out, woe to you. And they just, they're just totally put off by our Lord, who says it's not you practicing the law, it's through faith in grace, which is incarnate right in front of you. And it's a good thing for us to understand too, because it's not just a set of rules that we do or don't do. It's a belief in the person, and those rules help us follow him, right? So I've often thought of the law. The law has its place, and it certainly did have its place pre-Christ. And I like to think of it as kind of as training wheels. The law was there to help us keep us upright, and we can't hardly wreck if we just do what it says. And then our Lord came along, took the training wheels off. Now we can ride. Now we can jump, ride, skid. I like to skid. So anyway. That's kind of the dynamic, We're saved by grace, but faith is a response to that grace. Very integral and necessary component of salvation to enact that grace, right? And then works is just a fruit of them both, So I think it's key. It's key that we have our terminology correct, because we get it wrong all the time. And actually, this is an agreement point on both Lutherans and Catholics and most major other denominational churches. So, we can stand firm on that great reality that all Christians stand on, and that's that we're saved by grace.